Velma is all the rage these days for seemingly all the wrong reasons. I don't think I've ever seen a cartoon so single-handedly demonstrate my gripe with reboots as much as this one does. It has everything I dislike. Massive character design changes, the relationship between characters are very different, the personalities seem out of character. It's like, if you're going to change the show that much, then just make an original show, instead of riding the coattails of a successful one. The damn dog's not even here. Isn't he like the fucking mascot of the franchise? What is this? Hey guys, it's Booksy back at another video. Today we're gonna review the first episode and a couple more, I guess, of the new hit show, Velma. You heard that right. This show is climbing the charts on HBO Max. Then again, it doesn't have a lot of competition. Well, whatever, let's get into it. Velma was created by Mindy Kaling, who starred in shows like The Office. Tastes have changed, and honestly, what offends people has changed so much now. I think that actually is one of the reasons the show is so popular in reference to The Office. Because people feel like there's something kind of fearless about it or taboo that it talks about on the show. The kind of people that walk into a room like, I'm gonna be a problem, guys, are so fucking insufferable. You have bad opinions, you're not the second coming of Christ. Also, I'm not gonna lie, I never know how to take these things because on one hand, Rick and Morty literally has a giant fucking incest baby. I'm pretty sure there's also a scene where Rick like has spirit sex and Morty's there also having spirits. It's been a minute since I've seen the show. So are we really that sensitive in today's day and age? Is everything really getting censored like you say it is? Never, I'm rambling. The point is, I cannot ignore there's a subset of people who say this because they can't get away with making jokes on marginalized communities where the jokes are just mocking and stereotyping said marginalized communities. So I knew I was in for a real treat when I decided to watch this train wreck. I also hate the majority of the criticism towards the show is like, go woke or go broke, because the show actually is kind of anti-SJW humor. So the whole time watching it, it begs the question, who is this even made for? It has jokes picking at pronouns and at the Me Too movement. Velma, don't bite the hand that feeds you. I have opinions on race bending, but something that I find kind of atrocious is the fact that they decided to change her race and then made her insecure of it. The term gorilla is thrown around and Velma now hates herself, which is crazy because she was never this self-loathing when she was white. Shaggy, or Norville, also has quite the redesign. His silhouette is so far from the original Shaggy, it is insane. They didn't even race bend him. This is an entirely different character with a green shirt. But I'm getting off track. Let's get into the first episode. The gang's ages have always been kind of miscellaneous and different in different interpretations, but this show decided to age them down to teens. Velma is 15 years old in this show. Keep that in mind. The first scene starts off with a bunch of high school girls showering, making very meta jokes and commentary on it. It's so hand-fisted, it's no longer funny. Rather than being ironic, it comes off like they're trying to just justify the insane writing choice this was. Either way, this scene is where Velma finds Brenda's dead body shoved into her locker, which is the inciting incident that launches the plot. Velma is accused of this murder, which means it's her job to figure out who did it so she doesn't get framed. I know it's like a cartoon, but it's an adult cartoon, so I think it's fair for me to say this is lousy writing. Velma is a child, she's 15 years old. You're telling me these 40 plus cops couldn't even pretend to try? They're just like, Velma, figure it out. Okay. I want to talk about the race bending aspect of the show first, because a lot of things inevitably come back to it. Many people have been saying, it's not wrong that they race bended the characters, the writing's just bad. I think they shouldn't have race bended the characters, and I think the writing's bad. I think there's ways you can race bend a character and have it be a non-issue. Caitlin from Arcane is a good example of that. But if a character design is so drastically changed where the color palette has been affected, I think it's now time to just create a new character. At this point, just make a new. I'm so fucking sick of this reboot. So moving on. A lot of South Asian women have been voicing their concern about this depiction of Velma. She has never been the popular girl, but they cranked it up to 8,000 here because everyone reminds her of that constantly. She's just the smart nerd that helps them with their homework, that they often dehumanize by comparing her to animals and men. Even her own father compares her to Steve Harvey, all while she's lusting over a white man that pretty much told her she was ugly. See? Now I have to bring race into it, because for changing both the races and the characterizations, we can't ignore how these characters interact with each other. The show, ironically, is full of stereotypes. Fred, who was never rich, is suddenly the rich white boy who has no sense of reality. Now, Fred has always been kind of airheaded, but he was still overall a sweet guy who was genuine. This one is a complete asshole. He's very shallow. He doesn't remember Velma's name half the time because she's not attractive to him. He thinks she's Mexican at first and thought she was a maid when she entered his house. He also has misgendered her.
Maybe. I have a disease where I can't recognize people who aren't hot. My doctor says it's basically sickle cell for rich guys.
In my opinion, Fred's character has it absolutely the worst. They made him an asshole. He's borderline straight up racist. He's fucking brain dead half the time, and he's so damn mean. They ruined him. People keep bringing up what they did to Shaggy, Norville, Probably because he looks the most different. He really doesn't come close to how much they massacred Fred. Okay, Norville. Again, he's something special. His dad looks more like Shaggy than he does, which is to say he looks nothing like Norville, but whatever. Norville has a huge crush on Velma, to the point it's kind of sad. Velma has friend zoned him and still crushing hard on Fred. The OG Shaggy chose a dog over Velma. So this one is so damn desperate, and Velma won't even look his way. Like, she laughed during his love confession. It's a weird direction to take, I'll just say that. Daphne is also just kind of weird. She both acts similar to Daphne and nothing like her at all. This is like if the OG Daphne went through a psychotic break and this is her new personality. She's so unhinged like half the time. They imply very bluntly that Daphne likes girls a lot in the first episode. She's also a bitch. So we're skipping to episode 2. I don't want to reveal everything in case people still want to watch it for some reason. And if I talk about everything I don't like, we'll be here all day. So Velma has these really bad hallucinations that happen whenever she tries to solve a mystery due to the trauma of her mom's disappearance. The first time she snaps out of it, it's due to Shaggy confessing to her, and she finds the idea that someone would like her so unimaginable that it's funny. Okay. And the second time Velma has these hallucinations, Daphne just kisses her to snap her out of her panic attack and from the trauma. And then there's like these weird moaning sounds. It's kind of uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable. Okay, yeah, it's uncomfortable to witness. It's also not how you're supposed to respond to someone having an episode like this. Like, this isn't fucking Inuyasha. However, the panic attack moments are actually really well animated, so everyone responsible for that, great job. And also, I am very sorry. I want to harp on the sexualization of minors again because it's bad. Aging them up from high school to college would fix like almost all of these complaints. There's been films where the mystery gang are college age with plenty of fun adult humor. None of this stuff in the plot is even necessarily unique to a high school setting. The drug storyline would make more sense. Daphne's mom could be campus police, which would explain why they're always around and not have any of the power of a real cop. Put Fred in a frat and the pretty girls in a sorority that despite Velma's good grades, she wasn't able to join like Daphne was. Make Velma's major forensics to justify why her dad thought she could help in proving Fred was innocent when she really hasn't solved anything prior to him asking her. Now, I've ragged on this show a ton. However, the worst aspect of the show is the potential. When I reviewed the Magical Girl Friendship Squad, check that out if you haven't. I only reviewed the first episode because that's all I could watch. I was so painfully boring and unoriginal and unfunny that I wasn't going to force myself to finish the season. That was the plan with this show too. But once you get past it, this is nothing like Scooby-Doo, and you shouldn't assume any of the characters will act in character. The sexualization of minors, the overabundance of boomer humor and race jokes, which is a lot to ignore, I know. Deep underneath all the grease and mold the show is covered in, it actually has a good storyline. Hear me out. I actually was invested in whether Velma's mother ran away or disappeared, or even if she's still alive. I liked how Velma was a protagonist that was seen as unattractive, in the sense that women like that are technically not in the spotlight. I did not appreciate the racist undertones of how this was conveyed, though. Like, less misgendering, saying she was a dog, had gorilla arms, would be nice, especially when most of the attractive people saying this were white or lighter complexion. It's nasty. And this is what I meant when I said there's a lot of grease covering this show. I think if we handed the script to an editor and was like, hey, take out all the weird and racist shit, also the Scooby-Doo references, and set this in college, it'd come out so much better. What is the obsession with like drugs in high school anyway? Like, I'm not saying everyone was clean, but these shows act like most American high schools had like drug lords and gangs. And mind you, the setting in Velma looks like it's in a pretty suburban area. It's like it's not taking place in the war zones of Chicago. Long story short, Velma is hot garbage. It's weird in all the worst ways, and I'm tired of adult animation being like this with this cynical ass humor and these ass characters. If you made it this far, you get a kiss. And also $8,000 and a Mercedes and a Tesla, also known as a bomb. You're welcome. Spooksy, signing out.